we have the NFL today is back officially.
It is back.
I need you to hold your concentration for a little bit. We got to make it through this intro.
It is back.
It'll make sense in a minute. We got the NFL back. Got Murray State, Louisville tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Excited about that on the ACC Network. May have sprinkled a little bit on that. 17 and 11 in college football betting right now, thanks to that Week 1 parlay.
You're taking Murray State?
But they're like plus 42.5, so I may should have.
Yeah!
At the end of the day.
I also heard there was a YouTube channel that hit 100,000 or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that for sure. But before we do, the NFL kicks off tonight with the Chiefs hosting the Lions. The 49ers make Nick Bosa the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And we're going to preview the Texas A&M versus Miami game this weekend because I'm super duper excited about that one too. I'm Jake Crain. We just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And this is Crain & Company. Now, there are always key moments that successful programs or programs that take that next step can look back at and say, that's when it all changed. Now, for two programs with a lot of tradition in Texas A&M and Miami, this coming up Saturday has a chance to be one of those moments for either side. Now, it's no secret that A&M's been trying to break through for what seems like forever, and Miami hasn't tasted elite success in a long time. Both teams have been the butt of jokes and ridicule, but after solid Week 1 performances, even though they're against lesser opponents, this Week 2 matchup could be a huge springboard into a program-changing year. Now, A&M looked more crisp and up-tempo offensively. They looked more organized defensively than I've seen in a while, and while it was against New Mexico, if you have watched A&M long enough, you know exactly what I mean. Bobby Petrino's injected a little more arrogance and a little more fun into the offense, and they may have found their gunslinger in Connor Wegman. I wonder who was talking about him a lot during the preseason. Oh, wait, now I remember. Now, if they go down to Miami and handle business, the Aggies have the talent to get really hot and do some damage. The A&M fan base has been patient, and all that yelling in overalls is bound to pay off eventually. Now, this could be the team that Jimbo's been waiting on. Now, on the other side, while Miami has sipped from the Cup of Champions before, they've only had one double-digit win season since 2004, and their arch-rival Florida State is hotter than Joe Burrow's new fiancée right now. Now, they hired one of their own in Mario Cristobal to try and bring them back to prominence, and while year one didn't go as planned and they got absolutely boat-raced by Middle Tennessee, it seems Cristobal has a team this year that is built more to his identity and in his image than last year. They're young but very talented up front. Quarterback Tyler Van Dyke looks healthy, and they seem to have Miami's speed at the skill position while being formidable on defense. Now, the truth is, Miami should strike the fear of God in their opponents when they get off the bus, and a win over an SEC team early could help the Canes garner that swagger back as they head into an ACC season where it seems to be a little more wide open outside of Florida State than we thought at the beginning. So which team will seize the opportunity? Which program will take the next step? We're going to find out this Saturday. And I don't know about you, but my ass can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about can't wait, go and intro my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn. Former David Cohn. And in a new scooter, they see him rolling.
Yeah, boy!
They hate it.
Yeah!
Patrolling and trying to catch him. Show them that trick.
What's
Show them
that?
that trick.
Catch me
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
There it is. There it is. Blake
He got a
Crain.
little basket. Look,
he's
What's up? I'm putting a bell on it. I'm putting a bell on it.
Who made
too.
that for you?
Faja Pavel.
Papa made it for
Papa
you?
made it for me in the living room.
There he
This is 100 Deutsche Marks.
Now you know why we were trying to keep it together in the intro. Blaine was over there on his scooter just doing, X Games tricks.
Look, I'll pull up on you. You'll never even know
that
it.
scooter.
Yeah.
Get pulled up on by a canoe. You don't hear them till they're on you.
wow.
You got to watch out for the kayaks,
Unbelievable.
too. But, all right, we're going to get to the keys to victory for the Chiefs Lions, but let's look at this A&M Miami game. We'll really dive into this thing because a lot of people obviously talking about Bama and Texas. That's a huge game. We're going to talk about it even more. We've dove into it. Texas Tech and Oregon's a big one, but this A&M Miami game, it seems like both of these programs, A&M's been, I don't know if fledgling's the word, but they haven't been able to kind of take that next step. And it seems like, and it's just one game and it's really early, and we talked about this being a springboard game during the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor Wegman throws 5 touchdown passes. Remember, Evan Stewart didn't play in this game last year. He was suspended. Noah Thomas was a young guy last year who didn't get a lot of scratch. And it seems like with Bobby Petrino, this offense, it just makes more sense. It seems less forced. It seems less, hard for them to get in different formations and go up tempo. And then on Miami's side, Restrepo didn't play in this game last year. They seem healthier. They seem better up front. David, I just look at this. This could be the springboard game for each one of these teams to really go have a big year and take that next step.
For sure. And also, again, shout out to both of these programs for scheduling these games.
For sure.
These programs, they could have scheduled lesser opponents in the non-conference just before they get to conference play. But this is what makes college football great. Miami and Texas A&M week 2 in the non-conference. How awesome is that, man? We may not see this type of matchup again unless they meet in the playoffs for decades, right? So, first of all, that's awesome. I love that you're putting high stakes on this game because I think there are high stakes. I think the stakes are a little higher for Texas A&M, though, right? There are no moral victories when you play at Miami, but still, if Miami goes into this game, fights hard, keeps it close with Texas A&M, loses a close one. Mario Cristobal so early in his tenure there, and he's gotten the ball rolling that I think he could still use a close loss on the recruiting trail, and they could still have a good season in the ACC, all that kind of stuff. I think Texas A&M's in a little bit different situation. We've talked about Jimbo Fisher. He's not on the hot seat, but he's everyone talks about it, asks if he's on the hot seat. You bring in Bobby Petrino. How's it going to work? I think the stakes are higher for Texas A&M, and they go on the road to Miami. And boys, they look good in week 1. I mean, I think Connor Wegman is the real deal. When the ball leaves his hand, it just looks different, and he can use his legs. Now, one thing that was interesting to me as I was going back through the stats is for Miami against Miami of Ohio, 36 carries, 250 yards rushing. Yeah. That's exciting.
It's Mario Cristobal.
You're Mario Cristobal. I mean, 2-time national champion at Miami in the trenches. Miami's always going to have skill players. They would never need to leave the 305 in recruiting to have great skill players. But in the trenches, Mario Cristobal played up front. He knows how important that is. 36 carries, 250 yards rushing. I think A&M in their game against New Mexico had 130 yards rushing like that. How do you think the rushing attack's going to come into play on Saturday when they face them?
Well, it's going to be huge. I mean, you know us here. We understand what wins games, and that's up front. I think the biggest matchup is Miami's offensive line. Like I said, they're young, but they're really talented, especially the tackle they have. I mean, the way that kid moves to be that size and how physically strong he is. Going up against that A&M front on defense that's healthy. Going up against guys like McKinley Jackson, right, who's had a lot of starts. Shamar Stewart. That's what I'm interested to see because I think Miami's offense more this year is built run to pass, right? They want to run to be able to, they have 3 backs that they're going to go to. And the play action game with Tyler Van Dyke, that's really who he is. He's a pro-style passer. Not that Connor isn't, but I think Bobby Petrino, Shannon Dawson is more what Mario Cristobal wants in an offensive coordinator. Hey, let's pound it. Let's play action. We'll take our shots. I do think they need to get the tight end more involved in this game. Talking about Miami, had 1 catch last week. I think when you look at the versatility you need going up against this Texas A&M defense, and who, looking at this A&M defense playing outside of the front 7, I tell you, the more I watch this Josh DeBerry kid who transferred over from Boston College, play at A&M, I think he may end up being the difference when Miami does take their shots, or if A&M's going to get some turnovers and takeaways through the air. Don't be shocked if Josh DeBerry causes a fumble, intercepts a big pass or something like that. Love the way that kid plays. He's an NFL player. But Blaine, when I look at A&M, kind of flipping it, offensively, Connor Wegman threw 5 touchdowns. But what I like, if you look, the balance was there on offense, right? You look at Evan Stewart had 8 catches, 115 yards, 2 scores. Yeah. Noah Thomas had 6 catches. Anaya Smith had 3. Ja'Day Walker had 3. Moose Muhammad had 3. You had the 1 fumble by Evan Stewart. But A&M, it just made more sense. You look at Mari Daniels had 7 carries. Le'Veon Moss had 6 carries. Reuben Owens had 7 carries. They're able to kind of spread the wealth a little bit. And I like what Bobby Petrino did formationally, right? They were going faster. I think they were top 25 after week 1 in tempo. So I think there's a little more versatility, more imagination with Bobby Petrino and A&M's offense. But the run game for Miami is going to be crucial because for that offense to be able to operate at max efficiency, the play action game has to be big with Tyler Van Dyke.
Yeah, I think one key stat in this game will be time of possession. I'm going to see who wins that and if anybody dominates that. Miami still feels like they're a year away to me. I feel like Texas A&M with the roster they have right now, think it's realistic to say they have a better chance of winning this game. Texas A&M up front on defense is just they're a top 5 defensive line. And if you're Miami, they want to do what and do what early. Want to establish a run. This could be the ascent of Connor Wegman. If Connor Wegman comes out and balls out in this game, this could unlock the door to him maybe becoming a superstar. Because I think A&M's roster is deep enough on both sides of the ball to do something pretty special. And you go back to the first game, this is what Bobby Petrino does. 1, he'll out-formation you. 2, he knows how to isolate his best players and get in the best positions to score points. And you saw that with the 2 receivers doing what they did yesterday. So I think a big difference in this game is the guy that you hired and brought in the offseason, and that's going to be Bobby Petrino with his play calling and the way that Texas A&M is built on the front 7 on defense. They're built to last. And I think Miami will try to grab a little bit too early in this game, and A&M can set up the run, and that'll only do what? Help Connor Wegman and expand the bag of Bobby Petrino going through the ladder of this game.
Well, I think A&M's going to take shots. I think they're going to take shots.
I agree with that, actually. I agree with that. I know what you mean when you say you feel like Miami's a year away. That's why I was saying I think the Texas A&M stakes are a little bit higher. But let's just say Miami's not a year away. They have Tyler Van Dyke. Let's say he plays more within himself this year, is calmer in the pocket. Mario Cristobal, year 2. We've seen year 2 head coaches win a lot of football games, even national championships. Let's just say if they beat Texas A&M at home this weekend, they got Bethune-Cookman next, who Memphis beat to sleep last weekend, at Temple, and then Georgia Tech at home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could be looking at a 5-0 start if they can get over Texas A&M before you go on the road to North Carolina.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And you look at the recruiting trail, it'll be huge there. We want to know what you think as well. If you're in the chat, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to the Daily Wire chat as well, and everybody listening on audio. Make sure also, if you're watching on X or Twitter, whatever it's called this week, I'm just going to call it Twitter because that's what I know, that you are following at Crain Company and following the 3 of us. You'll see we'll have our names up there, however science and math works when you put it together. But before we get to the Booster Club, guys, the NFL's here.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Nobody panic, but everybody also panic. We're so happy, and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game and use code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER. If you don't have a sportsbook and you're in a place where you can legally gamble on sports, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that code BOOSTER. Make sure you get this deal. They're hooking everybody up with game day greatness. Like you said, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September as well. So check out the app to see what you get, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that code BOOSTER. I don't know what word I just made up right there, because you can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on NFL football. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER. The crown is yours. Also, we've got our link for merch in the chat. Go buy all that stuff up. We want to put some new stuff in there. That's the way it works. It's the way capitalism works. You buy it all, and then we order more of it. We put it in there, and then you buy it all again, and it's like a circle of happiness.
A circle. I love my bets tonight, by the way.
That never ends. Oh, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
I can't wait for them to miss.
All right, let's get to the Booster Club.
All right, let's get them feet chopping, baby. Let's go to Bryant Ward with a $10 donation. Brian, thank you. So Jake just got done paving the interstate overnight near Iowa Western CC.
No.
Can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts on the Boise State UCF game this weekend. Have a great Thursday.
Man, beautiful place over there in Council Bluffs. Iowa Western looks like a legitimate, does not look like a community college, junior college, whatever you want to call it. Right across the river from Omaha in the College World Series.
Did you coach there?
Yeah, at Iowa Western.
Nice.
Yep. Council Bluffs. Welcome to the Bluffs, babe.
All right, let's go to Trevor Canfax with the $5 donation. Trevor, thank you. He says, what does Mizzou need to do to make it to the conference championship?
Really?
Games.
First of all, I do want to say that Boise State UCF game, I expect a lot of points. I know Boise got absolutely boat raced by Washington once Penix and them got it going, but I like the green kid at quarterback. I think, he wasn't able to out-athlete everybody in Washington's defense, but I would not be shocked if the over hit in that game. I do like UCF right now. John Rhys Plumlee.
I'm a John Rhys Plumlee fan.
Yeah, I thought he was more on time than I've seen him. He threw the ball away a little bit more, and I just always underestimate how fast he is.
He's a 4.4 guy,
He can absolutely fly. But Missouri, here's what needs to happen. Defensively, I think Missouri's got a top 25 defense in the country. I had an SEC assistant before week 1 text me and say that he thinks Missouri may have the most underrated defense in the country.
Really?
When you look at what they return, when you look at what they have up front, they're pretty solid at all 3 levels. They can play man, they can play zone, they can play split coverage, they can get exotic with the blitzes. I think it's offensively, right? You know, it's not going to be the sexiest offense there ever was. You look at it against South Dakota, Eli, Drinkowitz, the head coach, he can get really creative. He's not afraid to mix it up formationally, but I believe in Cook. I believed in it last year.
Nice
I feel like, he forced it. You look at Luther Burden, the way they've kind of snagged a top guy in recruiting, it seems like the past couple of years they're doing it again in this next cycle. Missouri's going to have to catch some breaks. Can we pull up their schedule?
I have it right here, and it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, they got Middle Tennessee State this week.
Yep.
But then Kansas State at home.
I picked them to win that game.
I did too.
Don't be surprised if Troy goes over there and that game's close against Kansas State now.
Okay, I have Kansas State beating Missouri, but you guys have Missouri in that one?
Yep.
All right, then Memphis, neutral site. That's not an awesome non-conference game to play. Yeah. Seth Hennigan and them playing for Memphis. You go on the road at Vanderbilt. One of your crossover games with the West is LSU. Oh. All right, then at Kentucky, South Carolina at home, at Georgia, Tennessee at home, Florida at home, and your other crossover game with the West is at Arkansas.
Missouri could have a sneaky year, man. I'm just telling you.
They could have a sneaky year, but they're not winning. They're not winning the East.
No,
you'd have to catch a lot of breaks, and you'd have to have guys punch. And I'm not trying to say Missouri can never win the East. It's something that this year with the depth and they have on offense, I just don't think they have the. I mean, you go into Georgia.
Hey, one thing about that, though, a little interesting fact: they do have their bye week the week before they go to Georgia. Remember, they played them to 4 points.
They did.
Last week. That was at home.
But I don't see them sneaking up on Georgia twice. Kirby's not going to forget that. Those players won't forget that either. Mm-hmm. I like Drink, right? I'm glad he got that extension. I don't think this year's the year, but I would not be surprised if every 3 to 4 years Missouri kind of snuck some people and had a chance. Now, look. We're going away from divisions. So, the schedule can change. You can catch breaks. You can have an older team with a lighter schedule. But I don't think this year's the year. It would take a lot, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like I said, we're realists here. This is why you watch this show. So it would take a lot of breaks. But I like their pieces.
Yeah. Let's go to Caleb Miller with a $10 donation. Caleb, appreciate it, bud. He says, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to you, sir. I'm listening live while I start my road trip to Kansas City.
Yeah.
NASCAR weekend. What are your thoughts on the Kansas-Illinois game tomorrow?
We're going to be breaking this one down, too. It's a very sneaky game. I was a little let down. I know Ryan Walters is gone. He's the head coach at Purdue now. Yeah. I know Illinois lost a lot of guys on defense. Sidney Brown, you go around the secondary, they lost. Everybody talks about losing Chase Brown on offense. I was kind of let down by the defense, and if Toledo's special teams didn't blow it once again, they win that game against Illinois. Yeah. When I look at Kansas, Jalen Daniels obviously didn't play last week. Josh Bean, the backup, played. Apparently, Jalen's going to be back this week.
He is going to be back?
Yeah, it's his back that was messed up, so pun intended. I like the over in this game. I like Kansas at home. Not because I trust Kansas on defense. I think Altmaier, the combination of Altmaier and their running back this year, it's so much different than what they had last year. And I think overall it's better. Not saying the running back's better than Chase Brown, but Altmaier gives them a little bit more. I like the over, but I like Kansas in this game. Jalen Daniels coming back, them playing at home. I think they get just enough stops, and this Illinois defense isn't that shut down, stop you. I mean, they had a number 1 defense, I think, in the country last year. Yeah. And Illinois gave up like 12.5 points a game, something insane like that. It's going to be tough to recreate that. You're going to a tough environment in Kansas. They believe now. We just saw a great environment at another basketball school at Duke on this past Monday. I like Kansas in this game, and I like a lot of points. I think this could end up being a shootout because Altmaier and them can score on offense too now.
I almost picked Illinois' defense to be what I was wrong about this week after watching them on defense. I know you said they lost a lot of pieces, but yeah, it's just 10 penalties too for Illinois. That's what surprised me. 10 penalties. They gave up 180 yards of rushing. They got outrushed. They got outpassed. It was just not a good situation at Illinois, but they found a way to be scrappy and win.
Yeah, well, look, it's Bielema. I know Brett Bielema is a really good coach, in my opinion, and he has a certain style, and it's a ground and pound. It's play action, play good defense, and play clean. outside of being able to move the ball on the ground, they really didn't do any of that last week. And look, Toledo's a quality ball club.
They might win
Coach
the MAC.
Candle,
I mean, they're the
Coach
favorites
Candle's
to win
done
the
over
MAC.
there.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. So I don't want to take anything away from Toledo, but they about lost that game. And we want to know what you think about anything. We're taking live calls every single day now, if you haven't noticed, right? Like I said, on social media, I'm at peak happiness right now. It's 1-855-236-3228. We want to know what you think about the A&M Miami game. Let's get some Miami and A&M fans calling in today. And I know some Auburn fans are pissed off about Cal apparently talking trash.
Cal?
Yeah, running back.
California?
California.
Talking a lot of trash about
Somebody
Auburn.
may want to tell them this ain't no math test, bro.
I've already locked in 6.5 for Auburn.
Yeah, we'll see. I love the over at 54.5. But back to the Booster Club really quickly.
All right, let's go to Cole Frank, $2 donation. Cole, thank you. LeBron is mid. MJ's a GOAT, and congrats on the 100K. Cole, couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Without you guys,
all of you.
Us.
Let's go to Michigan 122 with a $5 donation. It says, get ready for my Lions to beat the Chiefs and win the division. Go blue, David.
What a
Go
segue.
blue. It's a nice little money line pick for the Lions.
What a segue.
I know.
All right, let's get, and like I said, the NFL's back tonight. We're going to give our keys to victory. Let's start with the Chiefs, David. What is one key to victory for the Chiefs tonight?
Travis Kelce to play would be really great. Which the update on that is Travis Kelce is questionable with the hyperextended.
I don't think he plays.
You don't think he plays? Now you were saying you think he plays, right?
I think he's going to play, yeah.
Okay.
I think even if it,
look at that mustache.
Even if it's
That's
in
your brother.
Yeah, even if it's in a limited fashion, I think Travis is going to suit up tonight.
I mean, is it worth? It's a bone bruise and a knee that he got on Tuesday of game week. Like, if he's going to be a decoy, you're still risking it out there. I mean, is it worth something happening that extends, the injury, and now he does have to miss 2 or 3 games outside of the Lions aren't in your division.
Look, as his I feel like his agent and friend now as his fantasy owner. You had him last year. I get him this year.
Yeah, y'all talked after you drafted him.
Yeah, we spoke. So the question you ask is a good one. I don't know because I want him for the rest of the season, but I'd also like him tonight, maybe a little anytime touchdown, which I think is maybe something that you.
Yeah, I did have that, but I took it off because of just concern of him not playing.
Yeah.
The thing about me is, like, if he's not playing, why hadn't Vegas adjusted? Because Vegas knows. They know at this point if Travis
Chiefs are
Kelce's
4.5 this morning. It was 5 yesterday.
I mean, it's been the max it was at was 5. All right, half a point. It's not really an injury adjustment to me. That's 2 points. So right now, if Travis Kelce doesn't play this game, I'd lay this game at 2.5.
Well, look,
Chiefs.
for me, on offense for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes just needs to do his thing. He's one of the greatest that we've ever seen do it. And if Travis Kelce doesn't play, Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a big game. And you'll see that in one of my bets that I have. But then on defense, I think the Chiefs, this Lions offense, we've talked about how great it is. And they're going to even take another step this year, I think, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, all these weapons that they have. I think the Chiefs need to keep a lot in front of them and make Jared Goff hit those checkdowns and just, methodically move all the way down the field without taking these big shots. That would be my game plan for the Chiefs, and then sporadically just go after him and see if you can get home with third down blitzes, some second and long.
I think Mahomes has played 1 game without Travis Kelce, and he's still balled. So there's not a lot of data points. I'm going to go on the other side for the Chiefs. Everybody's talking about Travis Kelce, and I get it. He's the best. I love Travis Kelce. He's the best tight end in the game. Not having Chris Jones in this pass rush is going to hurt. Chris Jones is holding out, not playing in this game, at least the last time I checked. And we know the Chiefs, that they don't have to have the best defense to be able to win the Super Bowl. They haven't had the best defense, but where they've been pretty good in important times, in the pass rush, right? Guys like Chris Jones that can convert speed to power to speed, can rush the passer, can stop the run, one of the leaders of this defense. If you give Jared Goff time with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, the weapons that they have now, Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is going to have a big night. Without Chris Jones, what does that mean for the running back? Well, I think he's going to be able to get out in routes a lot quicker. And y'all drafted his ass 12, so I know he's touching the ball a lot tonight. He's going to touch it a lot. Things going to be lined up at wide receiver. You'll see that reflected in my bets. But I think it's the Chiefs' pass rush. We know Jared Goff isn't the most fleet of foot. He's not going to be, running the 100 meters against Jamaica anytime soon in the Olympics. But he's really good at getting to a second and third read, and he's not afraid to throw the check down all the way down the field. That's where I think he took the biggest step, and that's where I think Geno Smith from the Seahawks took the biggest step, is they stopped trying to go grab all the candy at once. They decided to be methodical. If it's not there, throw the check down. Let's get in 2nd and 6. So I think the pass rush for the Chiefs, if they're able to get to Jared Goff without Chris Jones, I feel like they should be able to win this one comfortably. If they're not, and you give those witches time to run around and get open, Jared Goff is going to find them, and this thing's going to be a shootout.
I would agree with that, and I do think they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs too high. But for me, for the Chiefs, you're not going to have Travis Kelce, so who's going to be your guy? All right, who's going to be your guy you go to when it's 3rd and 5? Who's the number one receiver on this football team? I think you can kind of give kudos to Andy Reid. He spreads the ball out so well, and they're so balanced on offense. There's not a true number one. Is it going to be Kadarius Toney? Is it going to be Sky Moore? Well, I'm hearing a lot about Sky Moore kind of folding into the number one role for these Chiefs. I'll be interested to see that. I think Andy Reid will handle that well. And if you look at the lines, I think passing is going to be huge. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have a huge year. But what are we going to be like running the ball this year? I mean, you went and got who? You went and got David Montgomery. He's one of the best runners between the tackles. Yeah. I think in the NFL, you signed Jahmyr Gibbs in the 1st round. You didn't go get these running backs not to run the ball. So I think even without Chris Jones, you talk about his pass rush, but what about his run defense, which is huge, plugging up the middle? So if the Lions can have success running the ball early, you also do what in the same moment? You keep the ball waved and keep it out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, which is always a win. So I'll be interested to see if maybe the Lions kind of stick to the run game a little bit more with Chris Jones being out.
Yeah, and my key for the Lions, it's the obvious one, is defense, right? You made these moves during the offseason. You brought in Chauncey Garner. You brought in all these guys to be able to try and just be good enough to let your offense put you in position to win games. We know the Lions are an offensive team that has tried to hold on defense. You were one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. The question is, even without Travis Kelce, you're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. How can you limit the damage the most? It's like living in Florida and the hurricane's coming. You're not stopping the hurricane, but how much can you board up and how much damage can you limit by being prepared? To me, I think the best way to try and contain Patrick Mahomes is being able to hold them to field goals in the red zone. Yep. I don't think you're stopping them in between the 20s. I think whatever you're doing in the red zone to confuse him and not let him scramble around and find guys, that's where he scores most of his touchdowns. It's not mainly off design plays in the red zone. Now, the home runs they hit, that's a different story. Where Patrick Mahomes absolutely rips your guts out as a defense and a defensive coordinator is when he's able to scramble around and the play turns into a scramble drill and it turns into everybody grab a man and run around and he makes some off-platform throw behind 2 guys in the back of the end zone. So if the Lions can keep him in the pocket in the red zone and make him have to throw the rub routes and throw the pick routes and throw the fades and make them make the plays, make them make the routine plays routine, I think you have a chance to hold them to field goals because you're not keeping them off the scoreboard.
Feels like one of those things, if the Lions were to win, they'd probably have to win time of possession, long, methodical drives where you keep Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines and then still get the ball last where you can drive down and kick a game-winning field goal or have Jared Goff throw a game-winning touchdown pass, something like that.
Yeah, with that, you got to try and take it out of his hands. So right now, I'm obviously think the Chiefs are going to win. I think I'd be crazy not to pick them, but I do think this game is going to be tight. And if Travis Kelce doesn't play, I agree with Blaine. I mean, I think it's a field goal game either way because the Lions aren't going to be afraid. They're not going to be afraid going in this game.
No, I like the Lions to cover the 4.5. If you were going to take a Chiefs bet, I'm betting it down to -2.5 and laying a field goal.
Yep. Well, guys, the NFL may be back. College football may be back. But if you're tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that don't work, well, I don't blame you. And we got the answer. All right, you can make those like Patrick Mahomes. Let me explain how. That's why our sponsor, Nugenix Total T, lets you try before you buy. Get a complimentary sample when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword Crain, C-R-A-I-N. And listen, we're confident, right? We're guys. We're dudes. We're bros. All right, we don't want to walk around here and sulk around and admit, hey, we may have some low T or we may need a boost, but it's nature. It's what happens, right? And don't be afraid to admit it. It's not something to be ashamed of. Hell, you don't have to tell anybody. All you got to do is text 231-231 and enter the keyword Crain. And if you text now, all right, if you text right now, you can get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, which is their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you lose weight fast and get lean even faster, absolutely free. Getting older, maybe getting a little wider, getting a little slower, getting a little more tired.
Girthier.
A little girthier. Double up. All right, double up with Nugenix Total T, and you get that testosterone booster that has testofen in it. You get the fat burner as well. It is a fantastic product. So text 231-231 and enter the keyword Crain, C-R-A-I-N. My name isn't spelled like a bird, all right? Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates apply. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey conducted by IQVIA in 2022, David.
And I heard if you text right now, right this second for Nugenix, you will get a signed scooter from Blaine Crain.
That's what I heard.
Sent right to your house.
Or maybe even a Vespa.
Yeah, you're 10Xing right
You're, for sure.
You're telling me 20,
skinnier, more energy.
20%.
Just scooter brawning around.
Yeah, you're scooter and flexing at the same time. It's a new thing.
Scooter and flexing?
So people say gym tan laundry. It's scooter flexing and
gym tan laundry.
Scooter flexing.
We still wash our clothes, right?
Who says that?
Jersey
God,
Shore?
we're from different air. We're
the Jersey
4.5
Shore.
years apart, but might as well be 100 years apart. All right, let's get to the Booster Club.
All right, let's go to James Stalling with a $5 donation. James, I appreciate you not stalling on this donation. Because I forgot to ask yesterday, why does Alabama have to play Texas, but Georgia didn't have to play Alabama? Just wondering.
Georgia didn't have to play Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll read whatever you put in the prompt.
Yeah,
solid question.
It's a great question.
And I want answers.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Is it because Georgia wasn't supposed to play Oklahoma last year?
So
they're supposed to play them this year.
So you're
right?
saying because this is the second leg of a home and home,
because it's the second leg,
they have to make good on that?
Because Texas played Alabama.
I still don't like it, man. Like, why can't Georgia play Oklahoma this year?
Yeah,
We're supposed to get that game.
I need to look more into that. I just know that it wasn't either one of them's fault. It's just kind of the circumstance of what happened. But I want to say, I'm like 73% sure that it's because Alabama played Texas last year, and they got to make good on that, as opposed to Georgia and Oklahoma haven't played each other since that absolute shootout in the playoff.
Where was that game supposed to be? Does anyone know? In Athens? Or in Norman?
Neutral site, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'd have to look into that. It's a great question.
That would be one. that would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a solid foosball game. Let's go to J-Dubs in the Daily Wire chat. Says, do we really trust Jared Goff? He has disappeared in big games in the past.
I mean, after last year, I do. The gumball smuggler. And look, I mean, a quarterback is only as good, especially in the NFL, where the athletes are all top notch. You're only as good as the weapons around you. I think the Lions' offensive line, with that run game, with the receivers that they have, Jared Goff is able to go out there and operate efficiently. He's able to work the ball to all thirds, short game, intermediate game, long game. I like the design of the offense. Is Jared Goff the best big game quarterback ever? No. Is he the first quarterback that I'd take? No. But he fits the system. He has good chemistry with the personnel. And like I said, he can be methodical, and he can also take the shot. The skybar play, as we call it back home. So, again, am I in love with Jared Goff? No. Do I think Jared Goff is good enough to be effective for the Lions and for them to have more success than they've had in a long time and possibly win that division? Yes.
That's the best way to put it. I mean, there's a reason the Rams traded for Matt Stafford and got rid of Jared Goff, right? I mean, like, Jared Goff's ceiling is only so high, but he's still a #1 overall pick. He played in a Super Bowl. And the Lions, y'all had one of the greatest, maybe the greatest running back of all time, Barry Sanders. Weren't winning anything with him. Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest duos we've seen, weren't winning anything big. Now, all of a sudden, there's more excitement in Detroit right now, even though Jared Goff is the quarterback.
Look, there's nothing wrong. Everybody can't marry the Instagram model, right? There's nothing wrong with the solid 7 that cooks good, has great personality, is funny, will watch the game. There's nothing wrong with that.
But this would be a huge win. Go on the road against the Chiefs. First game
without
of
a
the
doubt.
season, man.
Talk about momentum.
Defining win, yeah.
All right, let's go to Sean Ketstever with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Shawnee. Which games do you think are the most interesting? Colorado versus Nebraska, Utah versus Baylor, Oregon versus Texas Tech, Wisconsin versus Washington State, or Auburn versus Cal? Which teams are you taking to win each game?
Well, we're going to hold on to our predictions for our Saturday special, Sean. You know, we had Jeff Foxworthy last weekend on Saturday.
Called the Duke-Clemson game.
Apparently, Jeff Foxworthy is a time traveler. But from an interesting standpoint, let's take Auburn-Cal out of it. We're all a fan of somebody. I'm an Auburn fan. I'm obviously interested in that game. I think this Colorado-Nebraska game is fascinating.
I agree with you.
Because I want to see how Colorado comes back because it's all been good, right? Nebraska against Minnesota, if you really look at it, Nebraska dominated that game outside of turnovers. They really did. If you go, they let Minnesota back in the game late. You got to give credit to P.J. Fleck and them out there rowing the boat. Jeff Sims can't throw the ball accurately, consistently. But Nebraska, Colorado gave up what, like 10 yards per rush last week against TCU
in the second half.
Yeah. Something crazy like that. I think the book's going to be out on them early. Sean Lewis is trying to get rid of the ball early. I think Matt Rule is going to have a plan for that. I don't think they're going to back away from the pass rush as much as TCU did down the stretch because they felt like they couldn't get there. I think what you're going to see Nebraska do is sit on the ball. I think they're going to run it at Colorado. I think Nebraska's better than Colorado is up front. And how does Colorado answer if Shedeur and them are on the sidelines for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not able to go out there and do it'd be a track meet like it was last week. Nebraska does not want to get this game in a track meet. But where I do think Nebraska has a big advantage in this game is Jeff Sims' ability to run at the quarterback position. I think you are going to see probably a 65-35 run to pass game from Nebraska with a ton of quarterback design runs to truly get a hat on a hat and keep Colorado on the sidelines. So if they're a little frustrated early, let's say Colorado, I think they're going to get down 10 points early, and let's see how they bounce back from that. It's been a great story. Look, who knows with Colorado? Right now, this is an experiment we're watching unfold in real time, whether it's Travis Hunter playing 130 snaps a game or Colorado absolutely flipping their whole team through the transfer portal and trying to see how it works out. Off to a great start. But I want to see in week 2, and I'm not saying Nebraska's world beaters, was week 1 more about Colorado is that good offensively? Or is it more about Sonny Dykes falling back down to earth and being the Sonny Dykes that we saw before he won 9 games by possession or less last year at TCU?
My answer is exactly the same. That's the only game that he mentioned in that slate that I have yet to pick a winner for. So much so that I went back and watched every play from the first half of the Minnesota-Nebraska game yesterday, and I'm going to watch every play from the second half later this afternoon. Nebraska was really good against Minnesota against the run on defense, but that's one of the things that Colorado already doesn't do well. Callie McManus for Minnesota was lighting Nebraska up.
Yeah, he threw it better than I thought he was.
And Shedeur Sanders, I think, is every bit as good as that kid or more. I mean, we saw the offensive weapons that Colorado has. So is this another one of those things where it's like Colorado finds themselves rushing for 45 yards? Shedeur Sanders has to throw for 500 yards, but still, that's what's most effective against a defense like Nebraska, and they find a way to win the game again. So that's one. I'm going to watch the second half of Nebraska-Minnesota again. You're right about Jeff Sims. He's just really inaccurate with the football, but when he gets his legs going downhill, there's going
to be so many quarterback design runs in this game. It's two totally opposite styles going at each other, and styles make fights, and it's always interesting to watch that. Also, Wisconsin going on the road to Washington State. I got Wisconsin going 11-1. I'm worried about that one, man. I'm worried about that one. Washington State's sneaky. They're sneaky.
Let's go to Justin Decker with a $5 donation. Thank you, Justin. He said, what are the funniest or craziest thing you've heard a coach say on a headset during a game?
Oh, well, some of it.
Can't tell you on here, buddy.
I'm just laughing, man.
I had a coach head coach tell I think it was the wide receivers coach. I'm trying to remember who was calling plays that we had co-OCs. And he told him that he was so dumb if you put his brain in a dog, it'd walk backwards. That was a pretty good one. And I tell you what, one of the funniest things I've ever seen a coach say to a player, and I'm not going to say the coach's name or the player's name, but this is when I was, had just started, got into it, basically GAN, is the tight ends. And it was during spring practice. And there was like 6 tight ends. One of them had quit. There were 7. One of them had quit the day before. And there's this one tight end we had to he was hard worker, great kid, just not good. So the tight ends coach walks out there and they're stretching, we stretch in groups. And he's like, well, that's one tight end that decided to quit. And then he goes, I wonder who the next one's going to be. And he just says the kid's name while he's looking at him. I felt so bad for that kid. He's like, I wonder who the next one's going to be. And everybody just looking at him while he said his name.
I heard everything on the headsets for
dude.
4 straight years.
If people just
I can't even say
some of it, like what you have. There's only like 2 or 3 different type personalities head coaches have during game days. And the one that's the funniest to look back on is the panickers. Because you have some guys that are just panickers. Like, you could be up 40 points, and there's a delay of game. They're just, what's going on? Like, whatever, like, oh, my God, we're the worst. We're fired. I heard it said we're fired.
I remember on the headset one time, we were playing on the road at Penn State, nighttime, wide out. We were playing awful. The offensive coordinator comes on. I think it was after a turnover. The offensive coordinator comes on to tell Coach Rod. He says, I mean, at this point, we might as well just put Cone in the game.
And then y'all came back and won?
I don't think he knew that I was on the headset still.
Oh, no way.
I'm like, hey, look, let's go. Let's get the right arm warmed up.
Look, let's start
back
throwing.
or what?
I started throwing, like fake handing off. I just started working it over there. All right, one more.
Let's go to Joey Johnson with the $5 donation.
Joey.
Appreciate it, Joey. It says, will Derek Carr lead the Saints back to the promised land?
Well, the division sucks. So, I mean, if we're talking the promised land like the Super Bowl, I think the Saints are going to win the division.
I like this move. I think so, too.
I think the Saints may even win a playoff game. But I'm sorry if I just don't believe that Derek Carr will ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But look, there's only so many Drew Breeses walking around. And he's going to be better than their quarterback situation was last year.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But, again, for the Saints, with what happened with Sean Payton with winning the Super Bowl, we talked about Miami as sip from the cup. If you've ever sipped from the cup before as a fan, it's like eating a great steak. Once you eat one great steak, you don't want to go back and have subpar steak ever again. Like, you want that. I want more of that.
Good range.
It's like the first time you let your kid drink a soda. Like, they're like, juice, what do you mean? It's going to the Coca-Cola. So if we're talking the promised land being the Super Bowl, I don't believe that Derek Carr will win a Super Bowl with the Saints. And I hope I'm wrong. Now, that division is absolutely terrible. So I think they're going to run through the division.
Yeah.
Without a problem. But Super Bowl-wise, I don't believe it.
Talented roster, the Saints.
I
Really
like
talented.
the roster. But
I'm really interested to see how Michael Thomas comes back and looks this year. He's talking about being fully healthy. Maybe he just seen to Derek Carr to kind of let him loose a little bit. We remember the amazing year Michael Thomas had. Chris Olave is turning into a star for the Saints, and he's going to have another phenomenal year. Your defense is solid. Your pass rush is extremely good. I can see him winning a couple playoff games.
Yeah, again, I know Saints fans want Super Bowls, and the standard's really high, and I just don't. I like Derek Carr up to a point, and that's once you start going up against the Patrick Mahomes or
even in the NFC, before you would even get to them.
For sure.
Think about,
Eagles,
Dallas, Eagles, 49ers, Giants even.
All right, let's get to our AFC West and NFC West predictions.
Come on.
Wanted to get these out. Let's go ahead and throw mine up there. Now, I don't think there's going to be any huge surprises. In the AFC West, I'm going, there may be a little, I think some people have the Raiders over the Broncos here. I believe in Sean Payton kind of fixing Russell Wilson. Hey, stop being fake, be yourself. You don't have your own office. Come into my office. Let's sit down and talk about it. I got the Chiefs winning the division, shocker. The Chargers finishing second. The Broncos finishing third, and the Raiders finishing fourth. I don't think Jimmy G makes it to the season. I know nobody's surprised about that.
Aiden O'Connell time?
Aiden O'Connell time. I think Aiden O'Connell's the future for the Raiders.
Really?
I really think he's the future for the Raiders. I love him as an NFL quarterback. So really no shockers there for the AFC West. Then out to the NFC West. Again, chalk. Maybe some people could argue Seahawks, Rams. I'm going 49ers to win the NFC West. The Seahawks to finish second. I think Geno has a nice encore year. I like what they have offensively. I love the run game they have. I drafted Kenneth Walker in fantasy, and I'm really excited about it. Then the Rams. The Fighting Stetson Bennett's made the roster. Huzzah, huzzah. And then the Cardinals. Congrats on maybe getting Caleb Williams if Caleb Williams enters the draft, even though I think he's faking that.
Oh, what his dad was saying about
I don't think he's sitting.
So what's going to happen? You're going to wait another year and then...
They get drafted by the worst team?
Yeah, get drafted by the worst team again. Yeah. Or a worse scenario is you're not as good as you were. Your stock's not as high, kind of like the Matt Leinart effect when he was coming out the next year. And then what, you drop down to the middle of the pack?
See, I don't think he would sit out the draft. But again, it's like I said, if people are getting upset, that's fine. If you're going to get mad at Caleb Williams about this, keep that same energy for Eli Manning. Keep that same energy for
John
Elway.
Yeah. I do. I criticize Eli Manning still to this day for that, what he pulled with the Chargers. It's just not right. There's no greater compliment than the worst team in the NFL saying, we need our next generational player, and that's who we're going to take. That's still what makes me mad about the whole Johnny Manziel thing.
Well, the only thing I didn't like is Caleb Williams had talked about the way the draft is, and it's not the best way to do it. What are you talking about? It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's why there's so much
The lottery
in the NFL.
sucks.
That's why in the
NBA.
championship of the Super Bowl, it's not a 65-7 score.
Yeah,
Look, I still love college football more, but
again, how about you just be rich?
Yeah.
And play football, play a game.
And take the Michael Jordan mentality of, hey, this organization drafted me for a reason. I'm going to bring a championship here.
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls weren't winning any championships before Michael Jordan was there.
No.
Take that same mentality with whoever drafts you. But either way, Blaine, why don't you go next? I want to go last.
All right,
I'm ready
pull
for
up my
the hate.
list. Let's go.
What do you got, Blanye?
We're chalked, baby. We're chalked up.
Okay.
Me and you are chalked up. AFC West, I'm going with the Chiefs. Obviously, the Fighting Patrick Mahomes. Coach Reed's got that program going. Really interested to see the Chargers this year and Justin Herbie. See if they can get it going in the playoffs in a little bit. You add Quentin Johnson with one of the deepest receiver cores in the NFL, and also have Broncos Sean Payton not letting any future songs in the stadium.
Yeah.
Going to keep Russell focused.
Not letting any
Sierra,
future songs
quit
in the
listening to
stadium?
that. We don't listen to that type of music.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not playing any future
He
songs?
doesn't allow any future songs in the stadium.
Only Jimmy Buffett and
Yeah.
and Steely Dan.
That's
Rest in
it.
peace,
And some
Jimmy
Billy
Buffett.
Joel every now and then. Then the Raiders finished in
80s?
Oh, yeah, strictly 80s. The Raiders finished in fourth. Now, I'm interested to see the Jimmy G and Devontae Adams connection here. I think it's going to be Jimmy G's life will be a lot easier if you just throw him the ball as much as possible. You got the little white witch and Hunter Renfrow and Haru. You signed Josh Jacobs back, who was one of the best running backs in the NFL last year. Raiders would be interesting to watch. NFC 49ers, your roster's too deep. Put Brock Purdy in there at quarterback and just run vanilla stuff for 4 quarters and lose 2 games the whole year. Seahawks, Geno Smith. Hey, I like to run game too. I drafted Kenneth Walker in my money league yesterday and drafted Zach Charbonnet, their backup.
Like I got
Got 'em
Tyler
both?
Lockett
You
late.
got 'em both?
I got
Just in
Tyler
case.
Lockett late too, who's just a walking
Yeah.
bucket.
Yeah,
Just in case. We'll see if Geno can match that year he had last year. The Rams are bad, and the Cardinals are bad. Poor Matt Stafford. Can't even connect with his guys. I mean, he doesn't even know what Twitter
Got to have a
is.
Facebook.
Their offensive line is like a high school Division III.
Matt
So
Stafford
I'm
didn't know what
working on it.
Facebook was. He's like, hey, Coach, I put a binder together with everybody's face and their information. I think it's a really good idea. He's like, there's like,
It's like, Matt, this is a phone,
yeah.
all right? And these are called apps.
Well, it's like, and his wife's talking about it on a podcast to be like, hey, how about,
He came out and said there's nothing to that.
yeah,
We're over that.
can you imagine that conversation?
No, I can't.
Can you, hey, honey, yeah, come in here and sit down. You see all this? You see this? Right? See, here, let's walk outside where this gold fountain is spitting water into a silver bowl.
So here, honey, catch this.
Yeah.
Fabergé.
See if you can run a slant.
Yeah.
Catch this.
Don't talk about what's going on in our locker room on your podcast. Talk about anything else.
Yeah.
I don't care. True crime, mysteries, what happened in the latest Harry Potter movie, your favorite recipes,
Harry
whatever. Mountain climbing, just don't talk about what's going on in the locker room.
Also, talking about the 49ers, I did want to say Nick Bosa signed a 5-year, $170 million deal, makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Now the question is he going to play Sunday? Says he's ready. Says he's ready to
Oh, I
go.
bet he's ready. Can he stay healthy? That's the question.
That is the question.
No, look, I mean, he's nice. That whole family. I mean, goodness great.
Yeah.
They just came out rushing.
This is
the pass.
120.
Like they rushed. He did a spin move. Like when he was born, he came out and like
Yeah.
did
He
a
swam
swim
the
move.
doctor.
He swam the
Yeah.
doctor and got to the nurse.
Yeah, stop.
That's a
stop-
sack.
That's a sack.
Stop playing for Ohio. Let's get some of those kids to Michigan. you know?
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah,
boring. Bring mine up. Seahawks.
Yeah.
NFC
Gotta do
West
something.
champs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Pandemonium.
Gino.
Whoa.
It wasn't a fluke last year. And that run game, like you're talking about, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet.
Pete Carroll
Just go
style of
beat
ball.
everybody. I like Pete Carroll, man. Had to play against him in the Rose Bowl. Silver Fox running up and down the field over there. A lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Look, I don't
played
know.
against him in high school.
49ers, awesome. You did
Yeah.
down there at Spanish Fort.
Played receiver is crazy.
Did he
Pete
break
Carroll
into
did?
the fort?
He was like 40.
He was
then.
63 playing receiver in high school.
He probably was.
Cooked me.
He probably was. 49ers, man. What's going to happen at the quarterback position?
Brock Dirty
Go play-
Purdy.
go play
He's throwing
Brock
balls
Dirty
over
Purdy?
mountains.
All right, we're going to find out. The most interesting one to me, though, is the Rams because, when they won the Super Bowl, the next year, Sean McVay is only 2 years older than me, talking about, is he going to retire? Aaron Donald was
Must be
wanting to
nice.
retire. Like, what's going to happen? They decide to come back. And they had 13 different offensive linemen they had to start and play last year because everyone was injured. That's not a good recipe for winning.
Is Sean McVay really Sean Payton's son and nobody's told us?
I think so. I think I heard
Just
that.
look at
on
them.
on a Reddit thread.
Like, just look at a picture, one on the left and one on the right. I got some questions.
Yeah.
They're both named Sean. I think it's
Sean McVay looks like he came from the ocean to me.
The ocean?
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
That
Like
makes
he's born in the ocean. Like he's an ocean person.
Okay, an
Like
ocean person.
Like a,
an ocean
like a
person.
Sea World.
Like the
it's like the
what I have to
guy.
deal with
It's
him.
like the
Like an
guy
ocean
who's who's
Like an Atlantean?
Poseidon. You ever watched the Poseidon movie? The
okay,
Avengers?
now I don't know where you're going with
You
this.
watch Avengers movies?
Anyway, I got the
God, I'm
Cardinals
sorry,
coming
but
in
yeah,
fourth.
please continue, David.
Cardinals last. And then AFC West, same as y'all's.
Yeah.
Same as y'all's. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I am interested in this Broncos experiment, though.
Look, I believe in Sean.
I believe in Sean Payton. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I told you Russell Wilson was trash at the Seahawks."
Well, he's had one bad year and
I'm
then
like, I know,
mostly
I'm like,
good years.
Why
other
isn't
than
that the anomaly?
Yeah.
Like if it's two in a row, then we can start
It's
talking.
because
like,
Russell's fake. That's why. People don't want to like Russell. Russell Wilson wants people to like him so much, people don't like him.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that guy.
And it
right?
wasn't a good look that when you do leave the team and you have your worst year, the other guy who comes in, Geno Smith, who had kind of struggled at other places,
Yeah.
all of a sudden has a great year.
Yeah,
Now everyone's
that's a
like,
good
wait,
point.
what are they doing in Seattle? Like,
Yeah.
they got it figured out.
That's a
People
good
just
point.
don't like Russell Wilson.
But
Just don't like him.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. All right, go ahead and you call in. We're taking your calls. 1-855-236-3228. Want to know what you think about the college football weekend. But if you want your team to always come through, I'm talking about your grilling team, right? Your tailgaters, all right? You want all-American meat. And you know what they like even more? Speaking about Americans when it comes to tailgating, when that American meat is free. And that's why we love Good Ranchers. They source the best meat in America and deliver it to your door. Even better, right now they're offering 2 years of free ground beef to anyone who subscribes. 2 years of free ground beef to anyone who subscribes. That's a $480 value. You will not find a better deal. We have Good Ranchers all the time. If you watched our live stream with LSU, FSU, we had Good Ranchers chicken, everything. They got a pork box now that David ordered. They got seafood. They've got everything. And not only you get the best cuts of meat from a trusted 100% American source company, but you're going to lock in your price for 2 whole years when you subscribe to any of their boxes. It is an absolutely fantastic deal. So go to goodranchers.com today and use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $25 off and free ground beef for 2 years. Remember, subscribe to any box to lock in your price on America's best meat for 2 whole years as well. That's goodranchers.com and use our code BOOSTER for over $500 in savings. Subscribe to Good Ranchers, American meat delivered.
Had Good Rancher steak back-to-back nights now. Adam ate a whole steak to himself yesterday.
Good.
Not a boy,
He
Ace.
threw the pasta on the floor.
Good.
Pasta.
I love where this is going.
Want no pasta, Mom.
No, I don't want to get that
So
pasta out of my
there's
face.
a testimonial for you right there.
Yep. All right, so 1-855-236-3228. I know it's new, us taking calls on a Thursday, so if you want to call in, go ahead, but let's get to the Booster Club.
Tyler Jarvis with the $5 donation. Tyler, appreciate it, bud. He says, I want to know, why do y'all hate me? The one day I have off to call, that's Monday y'all are off. He blames me. Thank
It
you.
is Blaine's
Call in
fault.
now.
He says, love the show and go Canes.
Yep, call in now if you want, T-Jar.
So the Freeway Jared with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jared. Says, what game should I travel to this week? Wisconsin at WSU, Tulsa at Washington, Auburn at Cal. Please, no biased answers.
I would say Wisconsin at Wazoo, I think, is going to be a really good one. I love the way Braylon Allen looked last week. He's an absolute truck. I think Tanner can play better. I think they're still kind of figuring each other out, him and Phil Longo. I think the Wisconsin-Washington State game, it just smells like overtime to me. I think Wisconsin wins it, but close.
All right, let's go to Charles Dossett with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Charles. Good morning, boys. Let's hear Blaine speak some German.
Let's do it.
It's appropriate.
Is it good?
I mean,
Charles.
do you want me to translate it for you?
No, I don't. If you said it's good, it's good. Ich in Bedelmeta. David S. de Gloucester. Men Blugen hat Alrata. Colorado Estate. Amram Guimna de Weedal.
David, that's a what does that say? I heard my
Says,
name.
I am mid. David is the greatest. My brother
Yeah.
is wrong. Colorado is real. Arime, I think he had a typo. Wins again.
All right.
Only Blaine can make German sound Spanish.
Let's go to Campbell Ingram, $5 donation. Appreciate it, Campbell. David, as a Texas fan, I feel like we have a lot in common with Michigan. We both have rivals that start with an O and have ugly red colors. Hashtag hook 'em. Hashtag go blue.
Is that, as Oklahoma? Or as what
Texas.
As
Texas.
Texas. Yeah. Look.
Y'all know that I picked Texas from the offseason to beat Alabama. I'm going to stick with it. Did you pick them to beat Alabama? You did, didn't you?
I picked Alabama to beat Texas.
You picked Alabama to beat Texas, and you.
But I'm sticking with it this week.
Who did you pick? You picked Texas.
I picked the fight Nick Saban's, baby.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
You
did.
picked Texas. I'm the only one that picked Texas.
That's
Good,
just
that's
you,
fine.
dude.
I'm the only one that picked North Carolina too.
Look.
In the arms of the Angels.
All right.
You can see, hold on.
No, I believe you, David. You wouldn't lie to me.
Look at that right there.
Blaine would lie to me about
Look at that right there. Win,
Yeah,
baby.
David.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Broken Devil Dog. Hashtag Ask Crain & Co. Is there no downside for the Lions tonight? If they win, it's amazing. If they lose, but still keep it close, it's still great for them.
Yeah, you want to win. Look, these guys are super competitive. Obviously, you want to win every game you play, but I don't think anybody would just quit on the Lions season if they didn't win at Kansas City in the first game of the NFL season. Obviously, you want to look good. I mean, there's no moral victories, like David said earlier, but I do think there's a lot more chance to be rosy on both sides for the Lions as opposed to the Chiefs. The Chiefs lose this game. You know, it's the first game. People get over it. They'll be fine, but there'll be some questions that are asked.
Let's go to Football Player Highlights with the $2 donation. Appreciate it. Love your highlights. It says Daily Wire Fantasy this afternoon.
Yep.
It's in the works, buddy. It's in the works.
Yep. We got it.
Let's go to Dakota Blackburn. She wants to ask the boys, colleges and NFLs are pushing for safety, but don't enforce the mouthpiece and knee pads. What are y'all's thoughts on how to fix that, or does it even matter?
Oh, it matters. I mean, look, guys have been trying to find ways to get around wearing knee pads.
Knee pads suck.
Every receiver in the world.
I hate them.
Get away with it.
Hate them.
They're not fun. Mouthpiece, we obviously know how necessary the mouthpiece is. But at the end of the day, I think there are some people that are actually worried about safety, and then there's some people that are using safety as a crutch to be able to throw more commercials in the game and use it to be able to try and make more money. So that's the way I feel about it.
It always surprised me. All the skill players I played with, offense and defense, they always were trying to take as many pads out as possible. Knee pads, hip pads, they didn't like playing with them. This stuff never bothered me, but I wasn't running around trying to cover people,
Yeah. You can move better. All right. We're going to do our Huddle Up segment. Then we're going to get to calls.
Yes.
Every week we break down a play. I'm going to be breaking down the defensive side of this tomorrow. But David Cohn brings you a little bit of win in the water cooler, my friends. Let's play it.
All right, huddle up. Let's break down Florida State's first touchdown against LSU when Keon Coleman took a slant route 40 yards to the house. We got 11 personnel here. Gun, cluster right, empty swap, bubble back, lucky, Z slam. All right, we're in 11 personnel, so we know we have one running back and one tight end. Yes, we're in empty, but don't assume that means we're in speed personnel with all 5 wide receivers. We still have a tight end and we have a running back. Cluster right, empty swap. This is our 3-by-2 formation into the boundary. Remember, Florida State is on the right hash. They want to get their big 6'7" receiver Johnny Wilson blocking, so swap tells the X and the Z to swap positions on the field. That gives us a nice little cluster formation here with our tight end, our X, and our halfback, and we're going to run this now screen, which I'm calling bubble back. Usually you get a bubble going away from the quarterback. Here we want our halfback bubbling back with the Y and the X cross blocking in front of him. Now to the field, we have Z slam. Slam is our double slants concept. We have a quick 3-step looky route by our slot receiver, and then a traditional slant route on the outside by our number 1 receiver. Before we can talk about progression, let's know our protection, which is lucky. This is a 5-man pass protection. There is no tight end or running back help here because we're in empty, which means the offensive line is all by themselves. But we don't need to make any alert calls because we're getting cover 3 with no pressure. Now, Jordan Travis can work the bubble to the boundary right now if he wants, but he makes a decision pre-snap to work slam to the field. Why is that? Because he's getting free release. There is no press coverage by the defensive backs here. Not only that, he's getting 8 yards of cushion, which I'm going to work Keon Coleman against 8 yards of free release all day. He gets his eyes to his looky route, and then he hits Keon Coleman on the slant route in the first window before the hook defender can get there, and Keon Coleman does the rest. He makes the corner miss, he makes the free safety miss, and he takes it 40 yards to the house. This is a great job by Florida State, spreading LSU out, making them defend in space, giving Jordan Travis options. He makes a wonderful pre-snap decision, and then he's accurate with the football, which allows his playmakers to go make plays. This is 11 personnel. We're in shotgun, cluster right, empty swap, bubble back, lucky, Z slam.
Great stuff, David.
Yes, sir.
It is.
I hate running cover 3 against empty. I just absolutely hate it. The spacing on it's all messed up. You do get those free releases with the way the corners.
What are you really comfortable in an empty, though?
Well, I like either making. Typically, you have 2 or 3 empty checks that you take into a game. I am either playing man, just true man, cover 1 against empty. All right, and we're obviously going to offset the DBs and the guys in the interior. Yeah, I'm going to press 1 and back off the other. I don't want to be on the same level, or we can invert it depending on how you're playing it. But you don't ever really want, if the slot's off the ball, you don't want a guy on the line of scrimmage guarding the slot.
The slot in this was on the ball.
Was on the ball. So if he's on the ball, you can invert it. We have a check to that. But you either play man straight up, or you bring heat and play man. You have you can run quarters, right, against empty. But when you're running cover 3, you're leaving so much space in the seams, and that's where they hit them on the slant, on the double slant, on the slam concept that you were talking about, in the seams. I would rather bring heat, play up, make him get rid of the ball, and if he's going to score, then he's going to have to break a tackle and then get through the middle where it's clogged a little bit, as opposed to playing cover 3, where now both my corners are bailing to the third, even though that one corner triggered on the slant. I don't want to get into the breakdown yet. I'm going to start going into it, and then I'm going to get upset the longer it goes. But I just feel like you're giving them free money on the free release on the slant there, and you're not bringing any extra pressure. You didn't bring that Mike that was sitting in the middle. He just went to go try and push to get to the first slant window when you have that lower defender, the strong right there, that should push 2-1 if you get the hitch. I just don't like cover 3 against empty. I've never liked it.
And like I said, in this empty, this is still 11 personnel. So if you're looking down and you see 1 tight end and 1 running back coming out, usually you're not expecting empty.
For
right?
sure, but you have your
They
check,
go to
your empty check.
And you're talking about you would bring pressure. That's why they have the built-in bubble back right there. Because if he starts getting pressure from either that Mike or the Sam from the boundary there, he could hit the bubble right now.
And he could run it into the seam. You just got to get your ass off a ball.
That's why they call it a now.
Yeah. But no, that's great stuff, man. Absolutely great stuff. All right, you ready, David?
Let's do it. You want calls?
Let's do it.
All right, we got, let's go. We got a Pongo alert here. Pongo Angelo in Pennsylvania. Angelo, what's up, man?
Angelo.
How's it going, guys? First time calling in. I'm very excited. Great to be in Trust Street.
Thank you, man.
Oh, of
Welcome
course.
to it, baby.
Hey, appreciate it,
He's
man.
nice up here.
Call in as much as possible.
Yeah, this is Cigars Are Life on Twitter, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah,
they are.
So calling in because I used to work at juvenile detention, and when we would call the kids out, we wouldn't say it's a call out. We would say it's a call in because we want to bring everybody in.
Yep.
But these booster club bets, we need to do better as a booster club. We're at like 30 people consistently. Let's get those numbers up.
For sure.
I took second last month, up 8.8 units. Second place. Heartbreaking, but definitely want to bring everybody in. Let's get these booster clubs up. Not to work Cody too hard, but
yeah. Well, Cody's got the Excel sheet on the spreadsheet, and the formulas all built in. Yeah, it's something that, if you don't have Twitter, if you're not on social media, then you don't see it. So our listeners that aren't really on social media don't know about it. If you want to get involved in it, we have the links we post. I put out a tweet literally every morning. You can go in there and bet. Even if you're at a place where sports gambling isn't legal, you win merch if you win the month. Bracket Dom won last month. I mean, up 8.8 units, man.
That's never, Angela, that's not, Cigars Are Life, that's never a sad story. You finish second, but you're up 8 units.
Yeah.
You're winning bread at the end of the day, my brother.
Here, I got a little sound effect for you, actually.
Not a bad month.
For sure.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you guys was, you guys talk about refereeing a lot. So what's everybody's best sport for refs? Like, what sport do you guys think does the best job, and what sport do you guys think does the worst job? Because I have like a pretty unpopular opinion on both.
I think hockey does the best job.
I do too.
I think the worst, I would say, is the NBA. Or basketball in general. Because they call every game different. Like the game can be so different the way you call it. We can talk about Major League umpires like missing balls and strikes. And I'm not saying it's easy to be an NBA referee, but hell, I don't even know what's a foul. Like in college basketball, I don't know what's a foul.
That is true. Hockey by far does the best job.
For sure.
There was, this is to tell you how good they do. I can only remember like one missed call in the postseason with that it was the Maple Leafs goal that was messed up there in that first round. But not only that, but they're skating around the whole time.
It's so impressive.
Some props for that.
It's so impressive.
Can we put UFC
That's a
guys
good one
up there?
too.
You know, I've never really heard negative, like stopping a fight early, or you know, if anything, the scoreboard with the judges, when I say do a worse job than what the refs do. I think the refs in the UFC do a great job.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. Angelo, great call, man. Call in
Appreciate
again,
it, man.
dude. Great inaugural
guys.
call
Thank you.
there.
Yeah, cigars for life, baby.
Love to see it.
Call in again next week, all right?
Have a good one.
All right. Let's go to Oscar in Georgia. Oscar, what part of Georgia are you in?
I'm calling out of Reedsville,
There we go.
45
buddy.
minutes away from Statesboro.
There we go.
Okay.
One of the real ones he knows.
For sure. That's
Yeah.
Busby.
But, so I was looking at y'all's at y'all's ranking compared to that 4-letter words ranking. I mean, what really confuses me is that they got USC ranked at 6, and with y'all's is outside of the top 10, which is very understandable. They have no defense. And I have a buddy of mine. He's all up in that Dion train right now.
Yeah.
So I told him, just don't come crying whenever they lose to USC, because it's going to be a shootout now, because both teams can't defend the run whenever it becomes a shootout.
Yeah.
And with Oregon, much more physical now on the defensive line, it's going to be a lot more physical than it has been in the past years. So what is y'all's take on that?
Well, man, I want to see what the over-under number is for Colorado USC. That may be
87.
somewhere in the 80s. Well, first off, when it comes to the ranking, you know, we did our power ranking and we did our preseason ranking, and we're not going to overreact because Texas only beat Rice by 27, or that, you know, Michigan, you know, handled East Carolina easily but didn't score 60 points. We're not gonna punish people for taking care of business against a lesser opponent. When it comes to USC, that's the reason we didn't put them up there. I mean, offensively, we know that Caleb Williams and what they have is incredible, but you have to have balance to be able to be an elite team, and I don't think they have balance. I don't think they're great on special teams. I don't think they're great on defense. I think they're like the Globetrotters. And there's a reason the Globetrotters aren't in the NBA. They don't win NBA World Championships because they don't play defense. You don't go there to watch defense. You don't go to USC to play defense. Now, when it comes to some of the other differences in the rankings that we have in our power rankings, a lot of it just comes down to what I said earlier, in that we're not going to punish people for that, especially if you have a huge game in week 2, that you didn't come out and just pulverize somebody 86-7 like Oregon did to Portland State. Now, when it comes to Colorado, you know, I agree with you. I'm not going to overreact. I think it says as much about TCU than it does about Colorado. It's a great story. It's cool to follow. I'm just interested to see how this experiment folds out.
Absolutely, especially with Travis Hunter running 2 sides of the ball.
It's crazy, right?
Running defense and offense, which is insane. I've never seen that happen. I mean, you see it a lot of times in high school, especially with lower, like, AA, AAA, and all them divisions, but I've never seen it done at a high level like he does it, and which is very insane. But one more thing, congratulations on the 1,000 likes. And can I get a motivational speech to a friend of mine? His name is Jake. And
Really?
Yes, sir. Can you give him a motivational speech? He's a special teams coordinator at Montgomery County. It's like 30 or 40 minutes away from me.
Wow.
And I think an hour away from Statesboro.
Wait, his name's
Yes, sir.
Jake, and he's a special teams
Yes,
coordinator.
sir.
This
Oh,
your
yeah.
doppelganger?
This has to happen. Dad? All right, yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and do it. Play the music, Justine. Montgomery County? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Montgomery County Eagles.
All right. Jake, I need you to listen up. As somebody who shares your name, I'll see you at the Jake convention later in December, and who is also a special teams coordinator, I feel you on a level that I don't think a lot of people are going to understand. Montgomery County. Let's think about that for a second. That's your home. That's what you're repping. All right, you're the Eagles, which makes you fly. You're not the only Jake that's fly. Hell, my last name's Crain. You guys go handle business. Hey, let's go after a couple punts. Let's not be afraid. Let's not rough the punter. Pick a side. Don't dive across. Make a good decision. Keep your eyes open, right? Eyes open, full heart. Can't lose. Kickoff return. Don't be afraid to run a counter return. Run that field return. Fake the reverse. Get a little weird. Maybe it is a fake extra point. Hell, maybe it's a jump pass. But don't be afraid, Jake, because we're the same in a lot of ways, and weirdly in a lot of ways. And this is your motivational speech. Fly on, Eagles.
Can't wait for him to go to the head coach and be like, look.
Yeah, so
right,
congrats
hey,
Montgomery
coach,
County on that 70-point win.
Might as well be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Auburn.
Fly high, Oscar.
I love that. Thanks, Oscar.
Thanks, Oscar. Great call.
Yes,
See you,
sir.
man.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
All right, we got Haley in Charlotte. Haley, what's up?
What's up, Haley?
Hello. How are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to call and kind of see what you guys' thoughts were on the Giants this year. Obviously they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and just kind of what your thoughts are on Saquon this year as well.
Giants go in the Super Bowl. I like
Yeah.
Brian Daboll.
I do too.
Has the word bowl in it, so I can understand that. Love Daniel Jones. I'm glad Saquon then figured it out. I can't put him past the Eagles, man. Even with the Eagles losing both coordinators, I can't put him past them.
Daniel Jones did have his best year last year. Who's the worst, the Eagles?
The Eagles, they're just the worst.
I thought you
Within
said the
that-
Cowboys would be the worst.
Yeah, within that division, all the hatred, the old school hatred that runs deep in there. Which team do you hate more? Do you hate the Eagles more, Cowboys more, Redskins? What are you feeling?
Ugh. The Cowboys, they are just terrible. Nobody likes them. But the Eagles, I have family that lives in Philly, and they describe the fans, and they're just too close.
They did those snowballs
than
at
the
Santa
Cowboys.
Claus. They did those snowballs at Santa Claus. But that Papali
You
kid,
can't
he
be
can
doing
really
that.
run.
So what kind of year do you think Daniel Jones will have?
I think I'll have a good
Year 2 under Brian. Saquon got signed.
I think Daniel Jones, I think his running capability is a little bit underrated. I think he may put up similar numbers in the run game, and I think he gives him a little bit more of an out. The biggest question for me when it comes down to Daniel Jones is he going to revert back to the Daniel Jones that we saw the 4 or 5 years before his breakout year? Or is he going to be the Daniel Jones that we saw last year? I say the same thing with Geno Smith. I think he's in that same category. All right, you figured out the recipe. You understand how to do it, how to go about it now. Can you recreate it? How do you adjust? We always say, how do you adjust to the adjustment? Well, you had a good year. Now defenses are going to know how to attack you a little bit more. How do you adjust to the adjustment? I think Brian Daboll is a good enough coach to put him in position. And, Daniel Jones has proven, he can be a dual-threat guy. So, I believe in him having a good
What do you
year.
think? Brought Darren Waller over from the Raiders.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of it's going to have to come down to who does Daniel Jones have to throw the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about last year. You couldn't really name a receiver on the Giants. That was a big name, but now look who they have. You draft Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee, who's going to be special. Jalen's a great player. He's a straight line guy. You have Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. You have Sterling Shepard. You bring in.
Is he healthy again?
He's healthy.
God, like Wan'Dale a lot, man.
And you bring in Darren Waller, and you sign Saquon, even if it's a year contract. Right, Saquon's got to come out there and handle his business to get that long-term contract. So I believe in the Giants. I just believe in the Eagles more, and I think everybody else does this because deep down, Giants fans
But hey,
know.
lost both coordinators.
I don't know that
right?
deep down. I'm not.
Yeah, you do. You just don't want to admit it. You know it.
Yeah.
You know it. Deep
I'll
down, the
never
Eagles are too good.
Haley, we'll see.
Don't
We'll
call this caller a liar.
if the Giants end up winning the division, then you get to call in and you get to talk trash to all three of us.
I just can't wait for that moment. Thank you so
I
much.
can't.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Haley.
All right, have a good one. Thanks.
All right, Charlotte.
All right, let's go to Josh in North Carolina. Josh, what's up?
Joshy.
Hey guys, it's Voltar here.
Baltar, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, are y'all having call-ins tomorrow?
Of course.
Si, senor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to save one of my questions for tomorrow for Flaming Dragon Friday because I'm going to be hot.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to sideline that. And, fellas, this is honestly a triple win situation, as Michael Scott
Wow.
would say.
It's
I
a
got my
win,
first
win, win.
paycheck for my new job today.
Yes.
Y'all hit 100,000 subscribers, and
Yes.
NFL football is back.
I
Come
know.
on, baby. Let's go.
Best day.
I'm just screaming from a mountain.
It's the best day.
We hit 50,000 at the Super Bowl and 100,000 the day before the NFL.
I know, right?
God. And 2K's out tonight.
Let's hit 250,000 before next year's.
Hell, let's do it before tomorrow.
Yeah,
Let's do it before tomorrow.
I love it. Let's go.
All right. Well, back to my topics of discussion. Honestly, this is the first year, and I want to say probably at least 8 to 10 years where I'm actually more excited about college football than NFL. Like I love the NFL, but like I've honestly converted into more of a college football fan. But I seriously think tonight's game, it could be a true, what was it, the Rams-Chiefs game back in Thursday night, 2018. I truly think both teams could score 50 points apiece just because Chris Jones is out.
I think it could be nuts. I don't think taking the over is a bad play at all tonight.
No, that'd be a good bet. And then, but I'm excited to watch that game. I think it's going to be great. But then also another game I'm excited is Miami and A&M. I think with that game, I have a cousin that's an A&M fan. Actually, I have two cousins that are A&M fans, and I can't really talk too much trash about them. But I don't believe in them. So if they drop this game this weekend, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like, I think it's going to be probably a touchdown win, but it could go either way. But I just want A&M to win just so I don't hear all these other teams saying the SEC is not going to be good this year. Because if Miami wins, these college football fans are going to be they're going to be something else. They're going to be worse than Georgia fans when they won back-to-back championships. I think it'll be worse than that. But,
that would be three ACC teams beating an SEC team. So, you'll never hear the end of that.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't. But honestly, I was going to ask, like, A&M and Miami, if you think, like, do you think this is a defining win for either program? Like, you think whoever wins this game, it's going to catapult them and they'll win, like, 10, 11 games and maybe get to the playoffs? Or do you think it's more of it'll be a good win, but they're still like 1 year away for both programs?
Yeah, well, like I said in the beginning, I think this is a springboard game. I don't think it's going to spring either one of these teams to the playoffs, but I think it could spring them to 9 wins, a big year. And look, I agree with what David and Blaine were saying. I think you could make a great argument, and I've made the argument, that 2024, especially for A&M, is going to be that breakthrough year where they have a chance, where they could really make the playoff. And, obviously, we see what's changing with the playoff format and everything like that. I think there's a little bit of right in all that.
Mm-hmm. And also, one more thing. I wanted to do upset alert on Friday, but I think I'm going to do it today. And I think I'm going to go with Jake. I think Texas is going to beat Alabama by a touchdown.
Wow.
I'm calling it right now.
All right, Voltar. Me and you, man.
Whatever, dude.
Ride the lightning.
Wouldn't that then play into your
Quinn Ewers more than Jalen Monroe? Like, Quinn Ewers is way better than Jalen Monroe. Doesn't
that then play into your SEC losses that you were just talking about?
Not to ACC though.
Oh, we were only talking about ACC teams?
Well, I don't think he was only talking about it, but I mean, that would be the sticking point. But yeah, look, I hope you're right, Voltar. Yeah. I'm going to be reading receipts on Monday. Best believe that.
I hope it happens because it'll help Tennessee in the long run if Alabama falls off. I mean, we need Georgia to fall off too, but if Alabama fell off, that would help us out. But
there it is.
Tennessee, Florida.
That's the honest truth.
See.
Tennessee, Florida.
All right, Josh.
Josh, thanks, buddy. All right. Thank you, my friend. I'm interested to see what he has to say tomorrow. Flaming Dragon Friday.
Day's coming in hot.
Day's coming in super hot. All right.
That's it for today,
Speaking about hot. Yeah, Collins on a Thursday. Not bad. I'm heading over to the board. Got to get to bet on football tonight. Thank you, holy Lord. All right. Here's what I'm going with. I'm going one NFL. We do have a college game. But before I get there, our Booster Club bets are brought to you by DraftKings. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. We all know that. Turn on a movie. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, and new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on NFL football. That's only on DraftKings Sportsbook. With code BOOSTER, the crown is yours. All right, here's what I got. Y'all missed that dance move right there. It's pretty sweet.
Felt it, though, in my heart.
Move on with your life.
Yeah. Hey, Vivian, I got a new dance move. It's called the Move On With Your Life. Give me Louisville and Murray State over 55.5.
What channel is that on?
ACC Network. Murray State last week beat Presbyterian. All right, not the religion, the football team.
I was about to say, what a win.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see when they play the Methodists.
Tough.
They beat them 41-10. I hope Murray State just score 14 points. Because I think Jeff Brom in Louisville with Jack, I'm not the plumber, but I'll unclog your problems.
Jack, don't catch me reaching.
Jack. What?
You know, like reaching.
Yes. Goodness gracious. Jack Plummer and the boys, I think they're going to put up 50. So Jeff Brom, big win last week. Put some money on him on halftime. Put like 50 on halftime for Louisville to come back and win. Shut Georgia Tech down. Dropped to 26 piece in the fourth quarter. It's going to be Louisville, Murray State over 55.5. And then tonight, Jahmyr Gibbs, over 31.5 receiving yards at minus 115. Think they're going to split him out.
That might be a one-play type.
Yeah, and don't forget the Chiefs, top 5 worst NFL teams last year in giving up receiving yards to the running backs. The numbers inside R2D2. David, what do you got?
All right, talking about running backs, give me the Chiefs running back, Isaiah Pacheco, anytime touchdown, plus 130. Lock it in. He's going to score, especially if Kelsey doesn't play. And then I found a nice little bet here you boys might like. Chiefs and Lions both score a touchdown and a field goal in each half, and that's plus 900.
Plus 900?
Yeah.
That'd be a nice hit. All right, Blonde.
I love it. A little double dog type of day. I'm going to go with Pacheco, too. Anytime touchdown, plus 130.
You're taking Pacheco?
He's running like his life depends on it every play. Looks like
I love it.
He's been running for something his whole life, and they still haven't caught him. All right, let's go to the sun god. Praise him. Amin Sant Ra. I drafted him in my big league fantasy draft yesterday, so I'm going ATP.
Willing it.
Plus 115. Please, gosh.
All right, Ace. He's going to go Chiefs minus 4.5, and he's going to take the over for the Chiefs Lions at 53 at minus 110. Booster Club.
He's got a 2R3, not good as one. The $5 donut says Baker Mayfield's next job is going to be the Cheesecake Factory. He can always score there.
Yeah, you could.
First of all,
I love the Cheesecake Factory.
Let's not sit here and downplay Cheesecake Factory like it's not fun.
You talk about a versatile menu,
man.
If I could
or chicken parm's gas.
Cheesecake Factory, I can go and get like chicken wings and like Tom Kha soup and then a thing of cheese. They have everything there.
That's true. Monte Cristo sandwich.
It's like somebody went around the world and ate all the foods and came back and said, I'm going to open a restaurant. What do people love the most? I'm going to call it cheesecake. How about a Cheesecake Factory and we're going to serve all the foods?
And not many people know this. They have cheesecake as well.
They do. Then they put it right when you walk in to the right.
High IQ.
I look at everybody who works at Cheesecake Factory and I'm like, how are you not 500 pounds? It's like when I walk into a bakery, I'm like, how are you not so fat your eyes are closing? Like, I don't get it. Like, I could not work there. I'd be 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I'd be on like one of those TLC shows. Look, I haven't got out of the bed in 6 years.
You'd have your own show?
Yeah. Be like my 800-pound life. Take the over. Yeah.
Good?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Charles Dossett with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Charles. Says that both USC and Colorado are undefeated week 5. Jake has to go to a game with me, and Jake has to sport a Buffs jersey.
I'll take that bet.
Charles is trying to kidnap you.
I'll take that bet, man. If they're undefeated.
If I'm going to get kidnapped, take me to a football game. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Please.
Let's go to Tim Salinas. A&M has a
I really mean this.
A&M has a talent advantage, but I think Cristobal knows he has to win this game. It's his Super Bowl. Could catalyze the entire rebuild. Give me the Canes by 3.
I don't think it's crazy to pick Miami in this game. If they're able to run the ball and that play action's working, I could see Miami winning this game. Look, it's going to be.
God, Texas A&M lose this game. Just the panic.
It's going to be
the panic. You don't think the plague hit? Just no one's going to come outside. Like it's going to be just it's just panic meters. The entire office is on fire. Everyone's going to be freaking out. I don't want it to happen, but I'm kind of looking forward to it.
You do want it to happen because for some reason you have this.
You won't take Miami
for A&M.
I bet you won't take Miami in our Saturday.
No, I'm picking A&M. You know, just in case they lose, I can play them on even more. But if they win, I look like a genius. So it's a win-win.
You'll look like a genius.
Let's go to Jared Howlett. What's easier, getting a hole-in-one or hitting a 12-leg parlay?
God.
Oh, hitting a 12-legger.
12-legger, yeah. 12-legger.
Hole-in-one, I mean, I've been trying my whole life.
Man, that's 12-legger.
Let's go to 2R3, not good as one, with another $2 donation. He says, no. That's not the meaning of cheesecake. That's not the meaning of the cheesecake comment. He means something else.
What am I missing here?
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. Tell David what's in the Booster Club. Hold on.
The Coleman.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I may know. Hold on. Keep going though. Let's see.
Is Tate Martell the quarterback at Miami?
What?
Matty Ice.
Oh. Apparently, a woman claimed that she hung out with Baker Mayfield in a Cheesecake Factory parking lot.
Who hasn't?
You want to know when weird stuff goes down? Go to
Cheesecake Factory?
Go to Cheesecake Factory parking lot after 9:30.
God, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go there.
You don't.
I'd rather go in.
You
the
got to be mentally
Cheesecake
ready.
Factory. I'd rather go in the Cheesecake Factory at 9:30 and get some cheesecake.
They're closed, aren't they?
I don't know.
Let's go to Wake Up Jilson. What a name. Says, I'm so glad I played O-line. All they told us when it come to plays was like, inside zone right, or lead left. Not some Dr. Seuss story for a play call.
Yeah, coach. I always make fun of offensive guys. You know, I was a defensive guy. Their play, it's like half a Harry Potter book. I'm like, we're out there running. We're like, all right, hey, we got over, yellow, cut.
Yeah.
The offense is already like, all right, here's what we got, guys. We got yellow elephant. There's a monkey playing dominoes upstairs next to the old man who lives on floor 2, right.
And one of the things, like Scott Loeffler was my offensive coordinator. He said, "Look, if you want to play quarterback here, we're trying to get you ready to play in the NFL."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah,
He'll
we
listen
can make
to
it
some of those
simpler."
plays.
Like, and there were times I was like, "Man, this could be so much simpler." Like, we could have a one-word concept. Like last year, I broke down the Hollywood concept that Kyle Shanahan was running with the 49ers. One thing about that, though, is if you like that 3-by-2 formation that we just broke down, where you have a bubble on one side and a slam on the other side. Let's just say you have that pre-built in, and you just want to call it Blaine. That play is called Blaine, and we know what it's called. Well, if you want to make an adjustment in the second half and change just one thing of that concept, let's say you don't want to line Johnny Wilson up on the right. You want to line Keon Coleman up over there because you've identified a tendency on yourself at halftime that's getting shut down, and you don't want those receivers swapped or something like that. Well, now what are you going to do? You got to go in and take that one-word concept, and you have to add it, and you have to designate something else on top of it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just have these pre-built-in designations that tell everyone what to do, it puts more work on the quarterback, but that's why you recruit and sign quarterbacks who can run that sort of offense.
Very true.
It's like it's tough to have a 24 to 28 word play, but hey, like you want to play for John Gruden, you want to play for these coaches in the NFL. That's kind of that's how it was put on us.
For sure, and offense. You know, defense is reactionary, so a lot of your checks that are built in, they have to be somewhat quicker if you're checking to, because you got to go line up. Like the offense is dictating personnel groupings. You know, down and distance dictates that and things like that.
Like that one was gun. That was gun, cluster right, empty, swap, bubble back, lucky, Z, slam. If you want to change that a little bit to not be an empty, but you want to stay in 11 personnel, or let's say you want to go 12 personnel, bring in another tight end, something like that, you can change that play by just not having a couple of those words in there.
For sure.
Without having to, like break
and people will
apart
know what
this.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, let's go to Caitlin Everett. She wants to say, can we say a couple of nice things about the Astros? At least 5 home runs in those games. Abreu had a 3-run homer and a grand slam last night. What's going on with the Rangers?
Did Altuve? They blew that. They
Rangers
blew Max
post
Scherzer out last
falling
night.
apart.
Yeah, they are. Watch out
Altuve-
for the Cubs too. They're only a game and a half back of the Brewers.
Them too. Altuve hit 3 home runs and 3 at bats night before.
Well, him and Dubon went back to back twice.
I saw that too. Man.
Twice.
Astros coming on at the right time.
They know.
man.
Look, when you know when it's winning time. You know, we'll see if the Rangers, they've held on all year.
I know.
Can you hold on to the rope at the end? We're having an
Actually,
updated.
let's see what the standings are here
Yeah.
real quick in that division.
Go through it.
Man, Astros are winning the division now. Seattle a game back. Rangers 3 games back.
Yep.
They were holding on all season.
So you've got the Orioles are 3.5 in front of the Rays. The Yankees are in last place. Just wanted to say that. Cleveland 6 game behind the Twins. You've got the Mariners, who are actually 1 game behind the Astros as the Rangers are 3 games back. Like I said, can they hold on and come back? We'll see. The Braves. Can we beat the Cardinals, though? Like, what are we losing 2 games to the Cardinals? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, you sold the
Bad.
You
Lost
sold the
bad
dead
last
bird
night.
to a blind kid.
Down 6-0 at one point.
And then the Dodgers are up 13 games over the Diamondbacks. So you know when it's winning time. See if the Astros can pull away. It's going to be interesting. All right.
All right, Devin21, she wants to know, can we address Dabo's comments after the game?
Just saying that it was one of the weirdest ways he lost. I mean, yeah,
I think he was really excited with his offensive performance.
Yeah, he said if we play that way on offense, I think he's talking about how wacky it was they kept turning the ball over. What I don't understand, talking about in the red zone, especially in the green zone inside the 10, is when Duke is in zero coverage and they're bringing more than you can block, why do you not check and throw or at least run bluff? The one time you ran bluff, you threw it to Will Shipley and he scored. I mean, they're trying to crash the mesh and cause chaos. That's why you do it, and it worked twice, and then you missed 2 field goals. One, because you had a false start at the 1-yard line. There was many mistakes that were made, but I think Dabo is trying to sugarcoat it because he just wants to take all the noise away from him not using the transfer portal, plus missing evaluations on wide receivers coming out of high school. I don't think he wants to go down that route. So yeah, I think you got to score when you get inside the 10.
I agree. Let's go to the poll.
Oh.
Who wins the game, Miami or Texas A&M?
Aggies. They said Aggies. How much?
What you putting on it?
63%.
Really?
I'm
going to say Aggies 62%.
Texas A&M, 73%.
73.
Miami, 27%. I think the Aggies are going to run away with it, boys.
A lot of belief. Look, I'm leaning Texas A&M right now.
Yep.
But hopefully you guys are leaning. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Turn that notification bell on. Appreciate our callers. Got live calls tomorrow. Flamin' Dragon Friday. Jeff Collins, we're excited to have him as a guest. Don't forget about our Saturday special. Thanks again for getting us to 100,000 subs. Let's go get to 200,000 like now. Like Nick Saban said right after we won the national championship. What are you doing? Going recruiting. Well, we're going recruiting in our own sense of the word. And like the chances of the Rangers coming back and winning the division, now that they blew it, we're going, gone.